know, folks, things are happening so fast, not only here in this country, but all over the world. But unfortunately, we live right here, don't we? And this is where, right now, what really concerns us, what's happening in this nation. It's just, there's so much going on. There's so much smoke in front of the real stories. I mean, if you turn on the TV, yeah, you heard a great big celebration on ABC News about the sodomite lesbian movement today winning a great victory. The perverts won. We knew they would, though. We said that. We knew they would. A 5-4 split decision, which was just for show. That was going to win no matter what. It was already preordained for that from the leaders, so we knew that. And it's part of our judgment from a holy God. It is part of our judgment, even for the righteous, to be vexed in their soul as Lot was with evil around us. But beyond that, we're watching instability in this nation and all around the world economically. We're watching wars and rumors of wars. We're seeing destruction and all manner of evil spread like a cancer that's just taking wings. It's just unbelievable what's happening. And it's happening so fast. And everything is falling in place so quickly. It's just stunning. Well, tonight we're going to talk to Lindsey Williams, a man that's been on this radio show a lot of times over the last 15, 18 years. But everything he says come to pass just like he said it would. Maybe not right on the time he said it would, but nonetheless, just like he said it would. So let's go to Lindsey Williams right now. Lindsey, welcome to the program.
Pastor Butch, 1 week ago today, June the 19th, that night, while the American people and the world as a whole were sleeping, the elite ran a test that nobody, not one single newsletter out there, not one single talk show host that I know of has picked up on, and I'm going to tell you about it tonight. I've had the privilege of being on just a few shows the first part of this week, but Pastor Butch, tonight your listening audience is going to hear, probably for the first time, and probably for the last time, something so startling that if anything else hasn't upset you, this will horrify you. So now I want you to get a pencil and paper. I'm not going to pick any bones tonight. I've got a lot to say and a little bit of time to say it, and I'm going to take advantage of every moment we have here. So please go get your pencils and paper, because I'm going to give you some facts and figures in just a moment. You can look them up for yourself. You don't have to take my word for it, nor my elite friend's word for it. And here's what happened. It was Thursday morning. I have not heard from my elite friend for weeks, literally weeks. I didn't know whether he was on vacation or what had happened to him. And all of a sudden, on Thursday morning, June the 20th, I received 2 emails in one morning. That's very unusual. That doesn't normally happen. When I looked at them, I was horrified. And I knew that it must be a warning to me and to my family. Now, I'm presenting this as a warning to you right now. And I'm going to give you some time frames that are going to startle you tonight. First of all, I'd like to tell you where you can read the emails that my elite friend sent me. I want you to read them. I want you to print them out. I want you to digest them. Will you please go to lindseywilliams.net, LINDSEY, Williams.net. I have posted these on the front page. The first thing you will see are these. I have never had anything this startling in the over 30 years that I've been dealing with the elite, and when I got them, I knew there was a lot to it. I got on the telephone immediately. I was hoping I would get my elite friend, and sure enough, he picked up the telephone. And what he told me in the next few minutes, in fact, 45 minutes, I literally glued my ear to that telephone as he explained the intricate details of what the elite had done on Wednesday night and what was going to happen on Thursday night. And then by Monday morning, the elite had found out everything that they wanted to know. Let me try to explain it this way. The elite, now please, folks, you know that years ago, by the providence of God, I was actually invited to be the chaplain to the elite of the world. I've kept in touch with some of these people over the years. And as Pastor Butch mentioned a moment ago, out of the many times I've had the privilege of being on Call to Decision, Everything that these elite have ever told me has happened exactly like they said it, and this is not going to be any different. Let me try to explain what these people did. They did a test run. Let me try to explain a test run if I can. Let's say Boeing Aircraft produces a new model of an airplane. As soon as the first one comes off the assembly line, they don't fill it up with passengers, sell it to an airline, and fly it around the world. Not on your life. They do a test run. They will send up a test pilot time after time after time. They'll work the bugs out of it. And then when they're ready, they will sell it to an airline, and at that point, fly passengers in it. That is exactly what the elite did 1 week ago tonight. Wednesday night, the elite did a test run on the markets of the world to see what they would do so that when they get ready to bring about the collapse of all of the currencies of the world, not just the American dollar, but all of the currencies of the world at one time. And I'm going to tell you how they're going to do it. And I have not gotten an exact date yet, but I'm going to give you an approximate, because it has finally been given me something that at least I know within a reasonable time frame when it's going to happen. Pastor Butch, I told you this was going to be very unusual tonight, and I just wish to goodness that every person in the world could hear what I'm saying. Here's what happened. When I got on the phone that morning with my elite friend, I went through the first email that he sent me. Now, please, once again, I beg of you, go to LindseyWilliams.net and print these out. They were private to me, but you print them out, and you must digest them. The first email, let me read you a portion of it and try to explain it. Here it is. The 7-day repo rate, the benchmark rate for the funding cost between banks. On Wednesday afternoon, something happened. I'm going to stop right there at that point. Now, those of you who may already be looking at my LindseyWilliams.net, you'll be reading this as I go along. Those of you who get it later, you print it out and you'll see it as I'm saying it. What happened was, on Wednesday afternoon, Mr. Bernanke, Chairman of the Federal Reserve, hinted. He did not make an outright statement. He hinted. It was planned in advance. Folks, please. This was planned behind closed doors months and months in advance. It did not happen by chance, and it is probably one of the most startling things that has happened in years in the financial world. And when you see it in a few moments, you'll realize just how it is. Mr. Bernanke made a statement, and he hinted on Wednesday afternoon. It was all planned. The timing was planned. Everything was planned so that it would work right into the weekend the way that they wanted it and not have a collapse on Monday morning. Did you hear that? They did not want a collapse of the financial world on Monday morning, and they did something over the weekend, and that's the reason that he made his statement on Wednesday afternoon, so I was told. Mr. Bernanke hinted that there was a possibility that the Fed might not print so much money. $85 billion they do every month. And he hinted that they might cut back on the printing of some of that money. He made that statement on Wednesday afternoon. The elite was sitting back watching to see what would happen to the financial markets like a hawk. I mean, they literally were sitting there watching to see what would take place, and exactly what they thought would happen happened. Now, let me explain it to you in light of this email that my elite friend sent me. The 7-day repo rate, the benchmark rate for the funding cost between banks, surged to 12.33% Thursday afternoon from what it had been on Thursday morning of 8.26. Now, let me try to explain what this 7-day repo rate, benchmark rate was. I didn't know it. You know, oftentimes my elite friends will tell me things, and I don't understand what they're saying. I have a bachelor's degree, but it's in Bible. I went to school for 7 years to learn God's Word. I'm not a financial wizard, and when they say some things to me, oftentimes I don't know what they're saying. I have to call them up on the phone and ask for an explanation. So don't feel bad if you don't understand what this is. But let me try to explain it. Every night while you're sleeping, banks all over the world literally do billions of dollars worth of business. That's correct. The bankers aren't sleeping at all. They're out there trading, selling, doing derivatives, everything imaginable all night long while you're sleeping. And there is something called a 7-day repo rate, benchmark rate for funding costs between banks that has remained at 3.3% as long as anybody can imagine. Let me try to explain this. Let's say that Bank of America needs $1 billion tomorrow. They know they're going to have to do business with a certain client, and it's going to be big, and they need some money. So they contact Wells Fargo or some other big bank over in Europe and say, we'd like to borrow from you overnight. That's all. Just overnight. We'd like to borrow $1 billion. This is not unusual. They do this every night. And they've always, as long as anybody can remember, they've been able to borrow it at 3.3%. They can depend on it. They know it's going to be there. It just never changes. Well, it did. And it changed for a reason. Because they wanted to do a test case to see how they can bring all the financial systems down at the same time when they get ready. Mr. Bernanke was told what to say. He said it. They sat back and watched, and within a matter of about 6 to 8 hours, that rate went from 3.3% to 8.2% by the afternoon of Thursday. Thursday night, that rate went to 12.33%, and all bank intertrading of funds came to a screeching halt.
If you watch the news, you saw the markets. I did. I watched it. All over the world, just start going down, big time. And as a matter of fact, one in the U.S. just turned back around a little bit yesterday. Go ahead, Lindsey.
The elite wanted to do a test run to find out how they can bring down all of the currencies of the world at one time. Well, I immediately picked up my phone and called my insider friend, and I said, will you please explain this to me? You know, the first thing he said had nothing to do with these 2 emails at all that he had sent me. It was quite to the contrary. The first thing he said to me was, he said, Chaplain, do you know what the connection between interest rates and the derivative market are? Oh, my goodness, when I heard that, did I immediately take notice? Now, folks, you'll remember that back over 2 years ago, and Pastor Butch, I said it right here on your program, they told me that when they get ready to bring the currencies of the world down all at one time, that they will use the derivative market to do it, not the stock market. They will use the derivative market. The first thing he said to me was, he said, Chaplain, do you know the connection between interest rates and the derivative market? And I said, no, I don't. He said, okay. That overnight bank rate went from 3.3% to 12.33%. He said, do you realize that not a single derivative market in the world can operate with rates fluctuating to that? Now, I want to give you a figure. I just got it today. I'm getting so many things, one right after the other here. Please listen to this one carefully and try to jot it down if you can. The number one reason why rapidly rising interest rates can cause an entire global financial system to crash is because there are, you ready, $441 trillion worth of interest rate derivatives. Will you please catch this? Even though you don't understand the intricacies of banking as my elite friend does, will you please write this down? There are $441 trillion, $441 trillion, not billion, trillion dollars worth of interest rate derivatives. Those 3 words right there say 1,000 things. This number comes directly from the Bank of International Settlements, and more than $141 trillion has been bet on the movement of interest rates. Are you catching it? I hope you're getting this. And when the interest rate, that benchmark rate went overnight at what Mr. Bernanke said from 3.3 to 12.33, if they had not stabilized the markets by Monday morning, we would have had a worldwide financial collapse of the currencies of the world, not just America. Now, you know what happened to China last week? Yes, please. I'm sure even Pastor Butch has mentioned this. The ICBC Bank in China ran out of liquidity. Doesn't mean they went bankrupt. It meant that they ran out of money to loan and to work on, and the country of China had to come to their rescue. This is not just America. This is not only the euro. This is going to be China, India, Japan, America, the euro. Everything is going to collapse all at once, and they did a test run to see how they can collapse them successfully, and they did it last Wednesday night while you were sleeping and Thursday night, and not one of you knew about it, and I would not have either if my elite friend had not told me the entire story, because when those rates fluctuate like that, the people who have these $441 trillion in derivatives, oh, my goodness, every bank in the world is involved in derivatives. It is the gambling casino of the super wealthy and the banks of the world. And there's one thing derivatives cannot stand. They cannot stand the fluctuating interest rate. And when the interest rate went up, it would have, by Monday morning, collapsed all of the currencies of the world. And I'm going to pause here long enough to tell you this. And Pastor Butch, you will remember this. A year ago, just about a year ago at this time, I was on your program, and I told you that I'd just been in touch with my elite friend, and he had said, Chaplain, you don't have anything to worry about for a year and a half. Did you catch that? Now, I'm putting myself on the spot today. I am not setting any dates. And don't you dare go away from call to decision tonight and say, Lindsey Williams set a date. They have not given me a date, but they have given me an approximate. And I'll tell you why. They did this test run to see what would happen. And a year ago, my elite friend had said to me, you've got a year and a half, you don't have anything to worry about. Now, that's been 1 year ago. We have approximately 6 months. Do you realize what is going to happen 6 months from now? First of all, they have already made the test run, and they know exactly how to destroy the derivative market overnight and in turn close up every bank in the world, not just in America, but in the entire world. And they did it last weekend, and then by Monday morning, they had stabilized the markets so that everything was back in order again, but now they already know the entire plan whereby they're going to do it. I want to show you what's happening in as of approximately 6 months from now.
Hang on through the break, Lindsey. Hang on through the break, okay? You know, folks, our founding fathers, especially Thomas Jefferson, warned us about central banking. He warned us that banks were more danger to their liberty than standing armies. And the same money changers that Christ whipped out of the temple are now in control of the world. Now, you can take that just any way you want to. That's just the way it is. Rothschild said in just a paraphrase, I guess, that he didn't care who controlled the powers of the armies, whatever. If he controlled the money, he controlled the world. Well, let's face it, that's a fact. And the love of money and the power of their brain is still the root of all evil. We're watching it happen right now. Lindsey just told us what's coming down. Probably, he didn't set a date. He said it could be within 6 months. I remember he told us about a year ago that we had about a year and a half before this thing would start really crumbling. They did do a trial run last week. They had to pull back their horns, so to speak, but Monday it been all over with. Lindsey, go ahead and finish your statements, and we'll get to put some phone calls, folks, at 855-242-8824.
Please jot down the following. You go look them up for yourself. This past week, in preparation for all of this, yes, you're exactly right. The elite tell the congressman how to vote. Nearly every one of them up there in their pockets. And they laugh. I've heard them laugh on the phone and say that congressmen, they think they're very stupid because any of them can be bought. Look at the things they did last week. They passed the Farm Bill. Do you realize that every dairy product on your table is going to double in price on January the 1st? Secondly, there was a Mortgage Debt Release Act that was passed last week by Congress. You probably didn't even hear about it. My elite friend told me in short order. There will be no more short sales on houses after January the 1st of 2014. Do you realize the housing market is going to go to zilch? Zero. Anything you haven't done with your house by January the 1st, forget it. The real estate market will go crazy. Then, last week, for all practical purposes, the President of the United States of America fired Mr. Bernanke. No, I don't have time to describe that right now. I wish I had 10 minutes just to tell you about this one. The President intentionally said, well, Mr. Bernanke thinks he has about stayed out as long as he needs to be here. No. the truth was the president told him he was through as of January the 1st. And probably the most horrifying of all, as of January the 1st of 2014, the health care bill kicks in. And you remember what Mr. Ken Fromm told me, my elite friend, before he died. It was at the very top. He said, Chaplain, this is not a health care bill. He said, this is the final control factor of the American people, and it's going to kick in January the 1st of this next year. And, folks, I tell you what I did. I had to. I had no choice. I've never done this before. In 38 years, I have been afraid to do this. I did it, and we came out with it yesterday. You heard me correctly. The 25th, on Tuesday, we debuted for the first time something that you have never heard me do before. I came out with the secrets of the elite in health. You heard me correctly. They've told me over the years, and I've stayed very healthy. I'm 77 years of age, and as you know, healthy as can be. They've told me how to do it. They told me where to go. They told me what to use. You positively must put certain things into your health cabinet before January the 1st of 2014, because 40% of the healthcare professionals of America will have resigned by that time. And if you think you're going to get any service out of the hospitals, you are badly mistaken. Health care will be no more. It'll be euthanasia when they want it to be. Therefore, I just did it yesterday. We produced it 1 hour and 46 minutes entitled Healing. Oh, yeah, I stuck my neck way out. I didn't even ask them about some of it. I just went ahead and did it. Healing the Elite Way. You will find it on LindseyWilliams.net. I plead with you to get it for the sake of your family. And then so that you will understand the details, which I don't have time to give many more of them. I don't even have time to give the second DVD here tonight. You'll have to take it off of LindseyWilliams.net for yourself. But if you'd like to know the details of all of this, please not only get our new DVD that we came out with on yesterday entitled Healing, but the one 2 months ago entitled New Signs the Elite Have Given Me. We explain much of this and the derivative market in that. So please, when you go there, print this out. These 2 emails that my elite friend sent me, digest them well, and then get the 2 DVDs, Healing and the one Signs the Elite have just given me, because you are headed for something that is going to be so unusual that unless you have prepared yourself, your house is going to be in trouble. But if you have prepared, and I know you have, because you've listened to Butch Paugh, and he's told you how to prepare. He's told you how to put that food in and how to get water in the house. And he has suggested to you that you need other things that are tangibles. And I'm begging you to get out a paper of every kind. If it's written on a piece of paper, it's worth the paper it's written on. They have done the test run now. They know exactly what to do. I want to make you a promise. I have been promised by my elite friends that they will tell me the date before it happens for the sake of my own family. I will tell you. I will post it on LindseyWilliams.net. I will call Pastor Butch and ask him to please let me tell it over his broadcast. I do not have it yet. But Pastor Butch, if I ever call you desperate and I say I've got something like this, please, you can't wait a week. You can't wait 2 weeks. You need to give it on your program that very day, because people are headed toward it. And the reason I know is because I was told they did the test run last week. That means they're ready to turn out the product now, and they know exactly what to do when they're ready to do it. I really don't have much more time. Pastor Butch wants to take some calls tonight. I'd like to hear what you have to say. So, Pastor Butch, you tell me where we can go from here.
Okay, we'll start taking calls in a second, and we'll go to folks. Fill the lines up. We want to talk to you. 855-242-8824. I do believe, and I've been on this radio. I've done radio, folks, for well over 20 years. And I'm very, very cautious about what I say as far as predictions go. And I say this humbly before our God in heaven and before you, that over 20 years I've talked about things going to happen, and not just what Lindsey said, many other things that will come to pass. It's not because I'm a prophet. It's because I study the Scriptures as the main point of all truth. And then look at history. Then look at current events. And I use those 3 beacons, if you will, for a cross-reference, a triangulation of where we are in time. And I can tell you about what's coming down, because that's what it's easily done if you take time to study it. Lindsey tonight is telling you that we're coming down to the wire. 3 months, 6 months, a year. That's not very long no matter how you look at it. It's coming down to the wire. And when Obamacare kicks in the 1st of January, oh, my. I don't know what to say. And groceries prices are already going through the roof. If dairy products go up as much as Lindsey said they will, and they probably will, if you think it's hard to feed your family now, you wait till then. That's why we ask you to call the freeze-dry guy. That's why we offer everything we can here in the way of natural healings with them, Dr. Ron Green. And all these things are important, and I mean that. But brothers and sisters and friends, you need to have a solid foundation in Jesus Christ, His truth, His will, His Spirit. No matter what else happens, without that, you have nothing. And I mean that. Let's start the phone line. Let's go first to MJ from Illinois. MJ, welcome.
Welcome. Hello, Pastor Butch and Mr. Williams. I just had a question. Given the news and everything going on, in this small time frame of a window that we have, is there still an area of opportunity that we can take advantage of to try to make some kind of revenue in order to prepare, or is it just basically too late and just try to prepare the best way we can with what we have now?
This is a glorious opportunity. You have a window of opportunity here that's probably one of the greatest you've had in your life. The dollar still has some purchasing power. There is time for you to get out of paper and get into tangibles of every kind imaginable. Take advantage of that, just as you have suggested. It is a wonderful opportunity for you for these next few months' time.
Well, she's asking, too, Lindsey, if there's anything that she can do to actually earn some more finances in this little bit of time she has.
Yes, there are a lot of things that you can do. Anything that you think you are capable of doing according to your own personal talents. There are many things that you can do in order to help prepare your family. Keep in mind that there were many, many people at the time of the Great Depression in 1929 through 1933. There were many people who made great fortunes. Not everyone stood in a soup line. They knew in advance it was going to happen. They knew who the inner core was that was doing it. And they put things in proper order, and after it was all over with, they bought things for a penny on the dollar. Right now, gold and silver prices are so low, it's almost unbelievable. I know where they're going to go because I've been told. Anybody that buys gold, for instance, right now at $1,200 and something an ounce, you'll have it at $3,000 an ounce when the New World Order currency comes in, and you can trade it for it. There are many, many opportunities you can take right now.
Okay. Any more questions, MJ? Anything else?
No, I was just actually looking for more, like you said, more specific answer to what area we can actually go into to generate revenue. So that is a good question, and I don't even have the answer to that. I just know that we need to prepare every way we possibly can, MJ, for whatever scenario that may work out. Food, of course, storable food, a good water filter. It's gold and silver if you can afford it, and even this may, some people don't want to hear this, but guns and ammo to protect it with. Everything you can do to prepare yourself, but make sure, first off, MJ, that you prepare spiritually through Christ, because without that, it's going to be a chaos at best. We need a foundation to stand on, and He is it. But that's the best advice I can give you. If you have any questions about where you can order anything or anything, call me tomorrow in the office at 304-846-4448. I'm glad to talk to you. Okay, thank you, gentlemen. Have a blessed night.
Thank you. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. Good call. What a sweetheart. Sean in Tennessee, come on in.
Look, I know I don't want to sound redundant, but I'm at a point of desperation. You already know my situation, Pastor Butch. I don't even control any of my money. The people in my family do this, and it's a matter of convincing them any of this. It's hopeless. I don't know what to do.
Well, like I told you before, all you can do, Sean, is the best you can do. And trust the Lord.
I'm sorry I sound frustrated and worked up.
I understand frustrated,
but I'm scared.
Well, don't be scared. That won't fix anything. Just do the best you can with what you got.
Pastor Bush,
yes.
I'm trying to even tell them anymore.
Well, don't try to tell anymore. Yes.
Pastor Bush, let me try to help your caller if I can. Fear is the last thing in the world you want to do. I was on the phone one day with Dr. David Janda, a very prominent physician, and he said, Lindsey, fear shuts the brain down. That's one thing you positively cannot do. In fact, the Bible makes it very plain that God is not the author of fear, but of a sound mind. Don't you dare get scared. You need to use your brain and be wise about these things. Now, there's one thing I will promise you. I will, every time my elite friend sends me something that I feel is needful for the world to know, I have promised that I will post it on LindseyWilliams.net. Now, don't go there every day because I don't hear from them every day. But every so often, whenever I hear from them, just like this past week and got these 2 emails, I will post them on LindseyWilliams.net. You go there from time to time, and I think it'll be a great help in calming your spirits so that you can make proper decisions.
Yeah, Sean, do the best you can. That's all you can do, and trust Christ for the rest. He is capable of taking care of us, I promise. Good call, Sean. Thank you. Any more calls on the line, Jamie? Oh, the phone lines are quiet. I don't believe that. 855-242-8824. It's amazing how quiet the phone lines are tonight. Folks, he's telling you now just about a time as much as possible from his elite. Well, if he's off 6 months, it's not nothing compared to a whole life before us. If we don't even think about ourselves, Lindsey, I have children and grandchildren that I want to see prepared, and most of them, even though they're my own family, pay very little attention to me. They really think that maybe I'm a little bit too far out there in some cases. They don't want to listen to what I'm saying because it's scary. All I can do is warn them. That's all we can do. And folks, that's all you can do. But Lindsey, it does break your heart to see it coming down like this, and the masses ignoring you, doesn't it?
Well, Pastor Butch, it does. But yet, on the other hand, think about something right now. The reason I produced this new DVD, Healing, just came out yesterday, by the way. The reason I did is, do you realize that some of the substances that the elite are using right now, you do not have to fear cancer. There is no reason in this world for you to have sugar diabetes. It positively, you should never have a heart attack nor a stroke. I tell you all of this right in this DVD, and you'll see pictures of it. Now, some of these substances you will be paying a fortune for after the financial collapse takes place, and you need to get them. Now, I do not sell them. I don't sell anything that I talk about in this DVD. You can get it someplace else, and you'll find out where to go. And each place it's different, but you can make the proper decisions, get your medicine cabinet supplied, take care of your household when the doctors won't be there for you. And a moment ago, I think, Pastor Butch, I forgot to give my toll-free number in case some of you like to call in instead of being on the Internet. Please go to toll-free 1-888-799-6111 during office hours on tomorrow. Again, 888-799-6111, Healing, and then the one about 2 months ago entitled Signs and You that the elite have just given me. And Pastor Butch, if we don't have any other calls, I definitely
we got lots of them. We have lots of them here, Lindsey. They backed up now. We got a bunch of them on here now. Let's go to Bruce in Ohio. Bruce, welcome.
Hello, Pastor Butch, Pastor Lindsey. Lindsey, I'd like to ask you, the elite, what about the war? I think they're getting ready to start a war with Syria. How's that play into the end time, the financial collapse?
Syria is a major, major, major issue right now. I have just been talking with them about this. And don't pay any attention to Iran. North Korea was nothing but saber rattling. Don't even worry too much about Russia. China is a big issue. But Syria is the biggest issue out there right now and could very well bring on world war.
But Iran is close allies with Syria. They're not going to let them go down.
Well, Iran, the elite are going to allow Iran to produce a nuclear device. Now, just watch it. Take my word for it. I've been saying for the last 2 to 3 years that there was not going to be a conflict with Iran. But you are going to have a major issue with Syria because Syria was supposed to have fallen 6 or 7 months ago, and it hasn't yet. And they cannot destroy Saudi Arabia until they get Syria over with. So Syria is going to be a big, big push right now. And our State Department is making some horrible decisions. Mr. Putin is getting involved, and it could possibly bring about the fulfillment of certain scriptures.
Okay. Good call. Good question, Bruce. Thank you. Let's go to Kurt in Iowa. Kurt, welcome.
How are you doing, gentlemen?
Doing well, sir.
I got a question about, the farming community and the commodities and food production. What's going to happen with that if this all falls apart?
I was told this about 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. I gave it on Pastor Butch's program. I also put it in the DVD series that I produced entitled The Next 4 Years and How to Survive the Next 4 Years, which is still available. And I was told one day, it was very strange how it was put. He said, Chaplain Williams, there's going to be no shortage of food and water on the grocery store shelves. I know this sounds contrary.
Hang on to the break, Lindsey. Hang on to the break, that thought. Hang on to the break, folks. All right, folks, we'll go right back in here. The phone lines are full. Got 5 minutes left. I'll give each caller about a minute or so or less, about 30 to 40 seconds, actually, to finish up. Kurt, any more questions very quickly?
Yeah, I was just wondering about, the farms. Will the farms still be existing afterwards?
Yes. In fact, there'll be plenty of food on the grocery store shelves, but you're going to go hungry. That's what I was told. And I said, what are you talking about? And they said, your currency is going to devalue, lose its purchasing power to the point that even though the grocery store shelves will be full, you will go hungry. You won't be able to buy the food. The currency is a problem, not the food supply.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good call, Kurt. Thank you. New caller from Indiana, listens to us on the Internet. Been listening since about the 1990s, shortwave Internet. Philip, welcome to the program.
Thank you. My question is, I'm a farmer up here, been listening to you a long time. The caller just previously on the commodities, on the grain markets, to hold on for that in the fall if the market's going to crash, or to sell the corn and soybeans and wheat. That's my question.
So you probably noticed what happened this past week to certain commodity prices, down. Cotton just literally tanked out. Copper has gone down 18%, which is the premier asset that you look at. So you are seeing the price of corn, wheat, and other things just literally going up and down like a yo-yo. So there are, yes, all of that is going to fit into the total picture.
Okay.
Good call, Philip. Thank you. I got to jump more calls on. Thank you, Philip. Call again, please. Let's go about 30 seconds per caller. Mark in Oregon, come on in.
Yes, good evening, pastors. Pastor Lindsey, the most common scenario I've heard among informed talk show hosts on GCN is basically there will be that financial collapse, but it will be a gateway to martial law coming in, and it will be part of a perfect storm of biological warfare, as well as there was one other thing that they plan on bringing into it, according to this information. Have you heard anything about martial law in the scenario from your source?
Okay. Then you got
this is one of the areas in which my elite do not want it. They do not want to bring on, they don't want revolution. They want to bring the New World Order in their way. Now, they may not succeed, and all of these talk show hosts may be right, but that is not their end goal. Their end goal is to bring about a financial collapse, make you want a new world order, and to give up your Constitution and make you want to do it to the point that they can bring it in without destroying the basic structure.
Okay.
So all I can just do is tell you what they say.
Okay,
very good.
Mark.
Thank you very much.
Nice call. Appreciate it. Jim, right here in West End. Jim, come on in.
I have spoken with people, 50, 75 people who have survived these collapses in Latin America. Okay, it breaks down to a village economy. I said economy in science like pastor studies Scripture. And it breaks down, for instance, if you know how to grow things, if you know how to build things, if you know how to make things, if you know how to make bread, for instance, you're going to be in a position to get real busy. So if you have skills and you know them, make sure you have the tools to do that, because that's what breaks down to the village economy. Thank you again.
Good call. Okay, Jim, thank you. Rick in Minnesota, you got about 20 seconds.
Okay, this is for Sean. Sean, if your family is holding you hostage that bad, you better divorce them and earn your own money. Earn your own money and get free. I live out $200 a week, and I just paid out $60 in gas money.
Okay, well, what else?
Left.
What's the question for Lindsey?
None.
Oh, okay. Okay, good call. Appreciate it, Rick. Thank you. We're done now. The last 10 seconds, Lindsey. Give out the phone number again when people can call and get your new DVDs. Anything else that you may offer. How can they find out about it?
Toll free during office hours tomorrow. 1-888-799-6111. Or go to lindseywilliams.net. LINDSEY Williams.net. healing, please, for the sake of your family, fill up that medicine cabinet. You find the elite.
Lindsey, we're flat out. Lindsey, out of time. I'll talk to you soon again, my brother. Folks, we'll see you in office tomorrow. Good night.